hard to come up with just one favorite memory to share about my dad. I feel like every day that I spend with him becomes a favorite memory, whether it is filled with goofing around, talking and walking silly, or just getting a big Papa Bear hug from him. When Dad went into the hospital, it was really tough on me. I was in a show at the time and had to learn to focus on my studies and try not to worry about Dad too much. Every night before my show started, I would go into a quiet spot backstage and pray. I would tell myself that I wasn't just performing for the people out in the audience, but I was performing for my number one fan, my dad. Dad healed with great speed and still surprises me every day with his optimism and happiness, which brings me to my favorite memory with my dad. A few weeks ago, the day after Thanksgiving, our family went for a beautiful 4-hour sail. The weather was perfect. I decided to sit up at the bow, in my favorite spot on the boat, and just take in the day. Some time passed and Dad came up to the bow, sat down beside me, and put his arm around me. The first words out of his mouth were, "God, I love my life." I didn't really expect him to say this, so I found myself getting a little choked up. Dad then told me that this was his favorite spot on the boat too, and how he could just sit here for hours and take in the world. It's a really small memory, but I can't stop thinking about it. Ever since my dad had his surgery, it's like a new light came on in him. A light that shines brighter than any other. Your light touches me every day, Dad, and I'm so happy to share that favorite spot on the boat with you. I love you.
Hey Dad, Merry Christmas. I think all of my favorite memories involving you have something to do with sailing, whether it is our recent trip with you on the catamaran, sailing around Mobile Bay for a day and jumping around between harbors, or the countless summer trips we took up and down the Chesapeake Bay on our larger boat as our family summer vacation, or getting caught in random summer squalls and having to find a safe harbor. Throughout all those memories, though, the best part is that I just always remember feeling like when you are on the sailboat, you're in total control and everything's going to be fine and everything's safe. And it's something that extends all the way to as early as I can remember you teaching me about sailing, when you and I were on the old, I guess it would have been the Flying Junior in the Hampton Harbor. You were kind of teaching me not to be afraid of sailing, and so you were kind of telling me, when you start feeling the boat heel and going fast, you don't want to be scared. You want to say, "Woohoo!" But if you feel the boat tip over all the way, that's the time that you say, "Oh shit!" And that's probably my favorite memory.
So what do you know? We managed to raise some sentimental children, didn't we? So I will keep this brief and cut to the chase, which brings me to our courtship, a memory not many have gotten to share with us some 34 years ago. Yes, it all began at a hockey game in Bursley Hall and seeing my etchings, etc., etc. But it was when you took me sailing on your little Tanzer 14 on the Saginaw Bay that I think I realized how special you were. You were in your element and so sure of yourself and everything about sailing. How could I not be impressed? Here's the photo I took of you that day. Wow. Of course, I had no idea what a romantic you would continue to be, or what a great father you would be to our 4 children. You've kept us safe on every sail, kept us fed and sheltered, and laughing at your silliness for all these years. I can't wait for our next adventures and to sail with you on our beautiful new boat. Oh, and look what a good job I even managed to be wearing what I was wearing in my engagement photo, kind of. See the similarity? A little bit. There, see? I love you. Merry Christmas.
Hello, Rick. Yes, it's me. Now your day is complete, right? This is a real good idea that Caleb had. This little tribute for you. I wish I'd thought about it. But anyway, I really have enjoyed working for you these past 8 years. And I hope to continue doing that. Yeah, we really get along, and you haven't yelled at me too much, I don't think. But anyway, I just kind of ignore it when you do anyway. So anyway, I just want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and hope you have a nice, enjoying, safe holiday and Happy New Year. And we'll see you in the new year. Bye.
Hey, Dad. Merry Christmas. So with recording this, I was trying to think of what I appreciate most about you, and what I kept coming up with is your work ethic. It's, I think, my favorite quality of yours, and it's not just at work even. It's in everything you do. You've always been very involved with all of us, whether it be sports, scouting, different activities, all of our extracurriculars. You were always helping out in the band, and always really supporting us through that. And that helped us, want to do it more and work harder at it, because we saw you putting in effort not only for your own career, but also to help us out and to help us work harder to succeed in the things that we were doing. And I think the one memory that I have, one of my favorite memories, thinking back, it's always tied to sailing. Where there's so much obviously sailing in our life, and I remember spending so many days with you at the boatyard where we were, under a boat for 7 hours, standing at the bottom of it and eating sandwiches that kind of maybe tasted like paint because we had different chemicals all over our hands. But maybe I think at the time maybe that was frustrating because we're spending a whole Saturday and Sunday in a hot, sweaty boatyard working on the boat. But the payoff was always so great. Then we'd take the sailboat out and sail for a week up to Baltimore or wherever we're going. And I think that taught me a very valuable lesson, the whole idea of work hard, play hard. And you put a lot of time, you put a lot of effort into something. The reward, the payback is so much greater, and it makes you feel so much better about the actual thing that you're doing, whatever you're enjoying, because you put the time, you put the effort into it. So you instilled that value in me, I think in all of us, and I really appreciate that. I'm very glad and proud to have that, to have you teach that to us. So thank you for that. Thank you for teaching us these important values. Merry Christmas. Love you. Bye.
Merry Christmas, Grandpa, and to all. Ho, ho, ho!
I knew from the first that you were the one for Karen. Now, over the years, you have accepted me, even letting me borrow things from your toolbox, because you knew I would put them back just the way they were in the first place. I've loved our yearly Christmas visits to the Home Depot and the building projects that you have let me help with on my birthday. You had us all worried and scared with your latest heart episode. Don't do that again. You have to learn to relax and deal with stress more easily. It's like preaching to the choir, isn't it? You have a wonderful family, and I love you all, and I love being with you. Have a Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy 2016. My love to you, Rick. Ann.
Hey, Ricardo, it's me, Margie, your sister-in-law, your favorite sister-in-law. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, all that stuff. This is really from us. I'm the spokesperson. So from Jeff, Carly, Colin, and myself, I can't help but do this recording with seeing you sitting in front of those ugly curtains. Sorry, Mom, but those curtains really were not great. Anyway, best story I have about you. Lots of laughs, lots of memories, but I'll never forget the Thanksgiving in Hampton when the kids were little. Jeff and Carly are cooking. You and I, our goal was to finish the keg, and we did. But after about 2/3 of the keg, we're watching Saturday Night Live specials. The kids were all over the place crawling on us, and we're laughing hysterically through it, and they can't figure out what's going on. And you and I are sitting there, and there was the scene where the guy's driving in his truck with the dog outside the window, lovely tune, and the car passes a semi and the dog's decapitated. And you and I are peeing our pants laughing, crying, I think, and we look around and the kids were standing there horrified because this dog had just lost its head and we were laughing.
So that was kind of our sense of humor. And it's continued. It continued when I showed up a month ago to help you guys move back into your house, and you were recovering from a major, major, major surgery, and you still had your sense of humor. So that's what we love about you. It never went away. Um, I'm not nervous, I'm just trying not to cry. Um, but the other story, I'll just do one more story. Um, and that is the time that after Clay was born, and he was very, very little, and you made the decision to have that special surgery done so you would have no more children. And I said I would come down and take care of the kids so Karen could get you to the hospital. So I arrived the night before your surgery. You met my plane, and as you often would do, you were teasing me and said, geez, what have you got in your suitcase? Are you staying a month? And I told you my suitcase was heavy because I brought my gardening shears, because I was planning to do the surgery if you backed out. And that humor continued as I got back and you were up in bed post-surgery, and I decided I would be the one to bring up your ice bag. So that's when I think the Nurse Ratchet's nickname started. But I love being your Nurse Ratchet. I love being your sister-in-law, and we love you very much. So this is from the Geigers. You see us all. This was taken at the christening of the Illinois. So this is the last family picture we have that, even though it's got a guy drinking a beer bottle in the background, we all love you. Merry, Merry Christmas, and ciao. See ya. Bye. Well, Christ, if I'd known I had more time, I would have stood here and said a joke or something. But anyway, what else can I say? Maybe I'll get the rest of my gang to someday. Oh God, my teeth look really dark. I don't like this. What's up with that? Okay, that's a little better. Okay. Maybe next time I'll have a drink before I do this. All right, love you. Bye.
Hey Dad, how are you? This is Clay, obviously. Hey, Merry Christmas. It's been a really crazy year for everybody, obviously. Just want to say you are an amazing dad, for one that cannot be matched. In fact, you're probably the only dad and only man that I've ever known that can probably successfully produce a new name for our dog every day, at least one. Sometimes more than one name for a dog in a day. So yeah, pretty cool. And one thing that I really like about you is the respect that everybody the respect that everybody has for you, and your contagious compassion for everybody, and the excitement you always have towards doing things, and just your love for animals, obviously. And your love for family, and I always appreciate that, and your love for the water and for the outdoors and all of that. We we love that in you, and we love you, Dad. So Merry Christmas.
Hey there, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Spaulding. I'm Rick Spaulding's much younger and much more handsome brother. You notice I have a pad in my hand. I have a slightly gin-soaked mind, so I'm going to be reading part of my tribute to my brother. Rick certainly gave us a scare this fall. Brother, there are better ways to get my attention. I'm just glad I didn't have to put on my professional attire to take care of your funeral arrangements. I hope that 2016 is a much more healthier year for you, Rick. Also a much more healthier year and healthier for your entire family. I'm just glad that you made it through this bypass surgery with such success. Love you. Take care.
If anybody deserved a tribute video, it's you. I've got great memories of all the things we've done together over the years. We shared leadership responsibilities for a Cub Scout den. That was fun. You turned your garage into a manufacturing center for campaign signs when I ran for office. You organized and led the sale of Christmas wreaths for the Boy Scouts. You stood by the fire on New Year's Eve till 4 in the morning while the rest of us went home and went to bed so we wouldn't get in trouble with the fire warden. And probably most importantly of all, you rescued my wife when she locked herself in the head on your sailboat. So if anybody deserves a tribute video, as I said, it's you. You're always there for us. You're always willing to help. You're always willing to chip in. So here's to you, Rick. Thanks for all you do and all you have done over the years. Thanks.
Rick and family, my name is Brad. I'm Rick's dad. We're here at the Brick Street Restaurant in Grand Lake, Michigan, having dinner with Kim and Steve and myself. And I thought I would comment on what you asked me to do. Rick was a very, very good baby as a baby, although he screamed a lot when he was little. And then when he was 2 years old and Stephen was born, he had this habit of taking his baba, which was his baby bottle, in the closet and hiding to get away from us so we wouldn't know he was still using his bottle. And when we would discover him hiding in the closet, we would take the bottle away and he'd say, "I want my baba, baba." Just a little humor there. And then as he got older, he learned how to fart at the dinner table. And he mastered this quite well. And to this day, he still loves to fart at the dinner table, which is one of his shortcomings, or you might say his accomplishments. He does it very well. He's very fine-tuned, and he loves to sit on a very hard oak chair and let everybody know his presence. Above and beyond all that, a little bit of humor there. He's an excellent son. I love him very much. I'm so very glad he successfully came through his bypass surgery, and we still have him as a son and a wonderful father, and I'm sure he's a wonderful grandfather, and his accomplishments in life are outstanding. And Rick, I love you very much. I'm very proud to be your father, and I'm very proud to have you as my son, and hopefully you'll have a wonderful Christmas, and God bless.
Hey Rick, got something to read to you. I'm going to let your kids set it to music because I'm sure not going to sing it to you. This is called The Legend Lives On. The legend lives on from Bay City on down to the pier side in old Alabama. The man, it is said, never loses his head when the fates hit him hard as a hammer. With a load of work stress for others no less, that would leave most men beaten and broken. For that good man and his crew was a vein to be chewed when the storm of October came stoking. The man is the pride of the Wolverine side, come down from some town in Tidewater. As shipyard guys go, he's smarter than most, with good wife, 3 sons, and a daughter. Concluding some terms with the Huntington firm, they left loaded for Mississippi. When a few years went by with no end in sight, a squall across the bay came a-rippin'. The wind in his lungs made a telltale sound, the blood flowed with heart barely ticking. But every doc knew, and his wife and kids too, he had time to give fate's ass a kickin'. The dawn came late and breakfast had to wait. When the doctor's knife it came a-slashin'. When mid-morning came it was a nervous game, as his wife and kids were left awaitin'. When lunchtime came, the doc came on deck saying, "Things look real good, he's damn lucky." And later that night in the ICU light, they held hands and he started recovery. He might have split up, he might have capsized, he might have broke deep and took water. But he joyfully remains in faces and in name to focus on what really matters. Everyone knows where the love of God went when fates made his future uncertain. It went with the man and his family at hand with great love for each other, no question. The legend lives on from Ann Arbor on down to the town that they call Pascagoula. The man it is known has certainly shown what strength, family, and faith can do to you. There you go, Rick. We love you, man.
Hi, and welcome from beautiful Saginaw, Michigan. Craig and Kathleen here, telling some stories about Rick. One thing that we could say about Rick is that he's a great guy who's not easily flustered. We learned that early on up at the island when we watched him in action with his mother-in-law telling him to mow the lawn one way, and his father-in-law, I think, suggesting quite strongly that he not mow the lawn at all, and somehow sliding between the two and avoiding any true violence. We know that you're a great guy because you've been able to stay married to our sister for what now, about 50, 60 years. And we're certain that being married to an artist isn't easy. Our very first New Year's that we spent with the two of you, we learned one thing not to do, and that's not to ever ask you a question when you're driving and we're in the back seat, because you'll always be turning around and making eye contact with us, no matter how slippery and ice covered the roads might be. Rick, hope you're having a great holiday.
Merry Christmas
Merry
to
Christmas.
you. Cheers.